in the deep dark blue. I'm in the deep dark blue. I'm in the deep dark blue.
The YCS Cup Series is back for Season 2, and we're at Daytona International Speedway for a couple races of 4 laps each, which will determine the starting lineup for the Daytona 500. Before we go racing, we'll take a look at some roster updates that happened during the off-season. The big one being Jeff Gordon's retirement after Season 1. He will be replaced by his teammate Chase Elliott. Elliott was driving the number 25 all of Season 1. He will jump over to the 24 team. And David Reagan drove the number 55 for Michael Waltrip Racing. They shut that car down, but a new car opens up with BK Racing. David Reagan goes to the 23 Toyota for Season 2. And Sam Hornish Jr. for Richard Petty Motorsports retires. He was in the 9 car for them. They've renumbered it to the 44, and rookie Brian Scott will take over in that car. And Bobby Labonte also retiring after Season 1. He was with Go Faz Racing in the number 32, and rookie Jeffrey Earnhardt will take over that spot. Front Row Motorsports made some big changes for Season 2. They had Cole Witt and David Gilliland driving in Season 1. Both of them are retired, but they will be driving part-time, sharing the number 35 for select races. Cole Witt will be doing the Duels and the Daytona 500. So they have a couple rookies taking over. Chris Buescher will be in the 34, and Landon Castle will take over the 38 for Front Row Motorsports. And then a couple new teams will join the YCS Cup Series. Ryan Blaney and the Wood Brothers, number 21, will be one of our new teams. The other being Regan Smith and Tommy Baldwin Racing. So both of them are rookies, along with Landon Castle, Chris Buescher, and a couple others. We will be having a battle for the Rookie of the Year award, and we'll keep tabs on that throughout the season. Lastly, on the roster update, we have some manufacturer changes. Furniture Row Racing's number 78, driven by Martin Truex Jr. They ran Chevrolets in Season 1. They will be switching to Toyota for Season 2, and they will have a technical alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing. And Levine Family Racing's number 95, driven by Michael McDowell, ran Fords in Season 1. They will be switching over to Chevrolet for Season 2. One more update we'll take a look at. This time it is a point system update. And last season, the regular season champion was the only driver during the regular season to receive playoff points. This time, the top 10 in the regular season will receive playoff points. And there we go. The regular season champ will get 15. Second will get 10 playoff points. Third, 8, all the way down to 10th getting 1. And this comes from the fact that Kurt Busch ended up finishing second in the regular season, only to have one bad race in the first round be the determining factor to knock him out of the playoffs. We're going to give those regular season warriors the points they deserve when the playoffs begin. All right, now it's finally time to look at the starting lineup for duel number 1. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. of Roush Racing has won the pole. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will start on his outside. Chase Elliott and Joey Logano share row 2. Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick row 3. Chris Buescher, Danica Patrick, row 4, and Kyle Busch and Landon Castle in row 5. Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth, row 6. Brian Scott, Martin Truex Jr., row 7. Cole Witt, Jamie McMurray in row 8. Casey Mears, Michael McDowell, row 9. And Matt DiBenedetto and Regan Smith in row 10. We're ready to go racing, and it's Ricky Stenhouse Jr. who takes us to green for the first time this season. As the field flies through turns 1 and 2, Dale Jr. and Joey Logano got a run on the outside lane. Stenhouse down low with Chase Elliott, but it's the 88 and the 22 who surge up front. Dale Jr. will lead lap 1 here in duel number 1. There's a third lane forming back there. Matt Kenseth leading up high. Joey Logano with a big move on Jr. He looks to try and take the lead as we got one spinning already. It's Kevin Harvick hard into the wall. The caution is out for the first time this season, and it's for the 4 car of Kevin Harvick, who slammed the wall hard on the back stretch. We'll have to take a look at how that happened because I was watching Joey Logano take the lead. There's Harvick on the outside, Elliott on his inside. It looks like Elliott might have got tapped from behind. That's Landon Castle. Good job by Casey Kane to avoid Kevin Harvick spinning right in front of him. But I think it all started with the 38 car. He got a big run on Chase Elliott and really has nowhere to go but to run into him, try and give him a push. There you see a little bit of a gap between the 38 and the 24. Just gets into him enough. And Chase Elliott actually made contact with the 10 car. That's Danica Patrick. Both of them came down pit road for repairs. They don't want to have to go to a backup car for the 500, unlike Kevin Harvick, who will be. But we're green, back for the restart. It's Joey Logano, who had just taken the lead from Dale Jr. He's got a couple Fords lined up on the bottom. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. behind him, and Landon Castle, that third Ford on the inside. But here comes a big push from Casey Kane onto Dale Jr. They're looking to take that lead away from Joey Logano. Dale Jr. versus the 22 of Logano. Off of turn 4, neck and neck. There's a third lane forming with Kyle Busch, but we're at the white flag for duel number 1. Couple Fords versus a couple Chevrolets. Here comes that run with Busch. They leave Casey Kane in the middle. Junior up to block the 18. Now back through the middle. Kane with a run. Junior's going to jump in front of him. Big push from Casey Kane to Dale Jr. Clear of Joey Logano is Dale Jr. He's going to look to take the win. Yes, the 88 is your winner here in duel number 1. Dale Earnhardt Jr. will start on the pole position for the Daytona 500. And he got it done with big help from his teammate Casey Kane. What a push the 5 car gave to the 88. Watch for Casey Kane to be strong in the 500. He looks to have a great car for pushing. But that's it for Duel 1. We're ready for Duel 2. Greg Biffle and Brad Keselowski share the front row. Trevor Bayne and Jimmie Johnson in row number 2. Austin Dillon, Tony Stewart, row 3. Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, row 4. And Ryan Blaney and Kurt Busch in row 5. Eric Almirola, Ty Dillon, row 6. Paul Menard, Clint Boyer, row 7. Kyle Larson, Jeffrey Earnhardt, row 8. AJ Allmendinger, David Reagan in row 9. And Justin Allgaier in row number 10. The inside line has been set. Now it's time to determine the outside line for the 500. And it's Roush teammates Greg Biffle and Trevor Bayne who lead them through 1 and 2. Brad Keselowski up top. He looks to be losing ground to the Fords on the inside as the field flies down the back straightaway. There's Ty Dillon back there looking for a third line. But look at this inside line pulling away. Austin Dillon makes a move on Trevor Bayne. Biffle's up to block him. Dillon makes it to second, but Biffle will lead lap number 1. And now the inside line coming back to Biffle. He's going to protect the lead and block both lanes. Greg Biffle off of turn 2 here. Whoa, Jimmie Johnson on that third line. Pretty loose there, but he's got a run with Austin Dillon. Hamlin to the middle, and now Greg Biffle trying to block 3 lanes at once, and he's doing it through turns 3 and 4. Whoa, Jimmie Johnson loose again. He's trying to keep that thing straight. We'll have to watch him on the exit of turn 2 as Denny Hamlin takes second now. Does he jump to the outside lane? Yes, he does. Biffle will not be able to block that. He goes back to the bottom, and there goes the 48. He's turned around. Tony Stewart's in it as well. The caution is out. Ty Dillon involved as well. We saw how loose the 48 was on the exit of the corners there. It finally broke for him. It was too much to handle. There he is on the outside, just goes around, and the 2 cars behind him stacked up, nowhere to go. Good job for Boyer, though, and David Reagan to get around those spinning cars. But that puts us into the overtime rules here. The race must end under green. These are the same rules as Season 1. So the race must end under green. 1 lap will be added per caution, and the leader restarts from the inside. There's no lane choice for the leaders. And this is all at the discretion of the officials, whether or not they even throw the caution, because we're not in overtime yet. But here we go, 1 lap, and it's Greg Biffle. He's been leading all day long here in Duel 2, and he's got Denny Hamlin charging on that outside lane with Austin Dillon. Biffle clear, he'll be able to block a run. Here comes Hamlin to the middle. He turns Greg Biffle. Biffle's into the wall. The caution will not come out. That leaves Trevor Bayne up front to take the checkered flag. Trevor Bayne will steal duel number 2. It all came from his teammate making a late block on Denny Hamlin. Greg Biffle will wreck out and will have to go to a backup car. Here's the first block. It was the second one that gets him turned. He can block once, but that second block too late for the 16. He turns himself off of the nose of the 11 car. With the duels complete, we can take a look at the starting lineup for the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Trevor Bayne will take the front row. Casey Kane and Brad Keselowski, row 2. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, row 3. Kyle Busch, Eric Almirola, row 4. And Chris Buescher and Austin Dillon will finish off the top 10. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Carl Edwards, row 6. Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, row 7. Brian Scott, Kurt Busch, row 8. Landon Castle, Paul Menard, row 9. And behind them, it's Jamie McMurray and Justin Allgaier. Row number 11 belongs to Regan Smith and Kyle Larson. Matt Kenseth, David Reagan, row 12. Casey Mears, Clint Boyer, row 13. Behind them, it's Cole Witt and Jeffrey Earnhardt. Ryan Newman, AJ Allmendinger will take row number 15. And we finally get to the back. All the names in red, the drivers that will be in backup cars. Danica Patrick, Greg Biffle, row 16. Matt DiBenedetto, Jimmie Johnson, row 17. Michael McDowell, Tony Stewart in row 18. Chase Elliott, Ty Dillon, row 19. And Kevin Harvick in row 20 by himself. So here we go. The Daytona 500 is next up on the schedule. That's this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all for watching the duels, and I will see you then for the Daytona 500.